So welcome to Worldbreakers, and this is the same module you can play on Tabletop Simulator right now. There's also a module on Tabletopia, which is entirely free, no installation needed, it's all web-based. And what we're seeing here are, first of all, the Worldbreaker cards I mentioned. So for example, this is the Cthulhu Worldbreaker card, and she belongs to the Earth Guild. So when you start the game, you're going to get an Earth standing, and she gives you a special ability. Whenever you attack, one of your followers gains a strength bonus. And the purpose of the game is to be the first to reach 10 power. So we have these power tokens, and the first player to get 10 of them wins the game. There's two ways to gain power. The first one is by playing location cards. And these cards are in your deck. You're going to draw them, you're going to play them, and they have these different stages. So Solomon's Throne has 3 stages, 1, 2, and 3. During the game, you can trigger them to gain their ability. In this case, you're going to gain 2 power, 2 power, and 1 power. The second way to gain power is by playing followers. So your deck is going to have different followers in it. I'm just going to play 2 of them as an example. And over the game, you're going to play these followers, and you can use them to attack your opponent. Every follower that goes through is going to net you 1 power. So in a way, there's 2 different paths to victory. You can either build locations and develop them, or you can play followers and attack your opponent. I mentioned before that there's 2 types of resources. The first one is called Mythium, and is these crystals that you can see over here. You start the game with 5 Mythium, and this is the game's currency. So every card is going to have a Mythium cost in the top left. For example, the Lowly Bard costs 2 Mythium. Then there's standing, which is represented by the board over here. There's 4 different guilds, and you're going to start with 1 standing in one of these guilds. So Cthulhu starts with an Earth standing. Marco Polo starts with a stars standing. And cards are going to have a standing requirement in the top left. So for example, Caleria Adept requires 1 Earth standing. That's the icon in the top left. While the Compassionate Ascetic, she requires 2 Earth standing. Again, the same icons in the top left. And the 10,000 Ride, they require 3 standing. So these are the resources, and let's talk about gameplay. So the game is organized into rounds, and every round you can take 4 actions, but you're going to alternate. So in this example, Marco Polo takes an action, then it's your turn, you take an action, then it's Marco Polo again, until we take 4 actions. During an action, during a turn, you can take 1 action, and you can see the different actions you can take on this card over here, this reminder cards. So for example, you can gain 1 Mythium. You can draw a card, you can gain a standing, and you can play cards from your hand. And all of these, they're going to take all of your turn. So if you choose to take 1 Mythium, that's it, you're done. Marco Polo can do his thing now. There's 3 different types of cards in your deck. And one type of card are events. These are one-time effects. You play them, you resolve them, you're done. So a gratuitous gift, for example, allows you to play a follower card with a discount. The second type of cards are followers. So here is an example. The Earth Guild Executor is one follower. He costs 2 Mythium to play, and he has 2 strength and 2 health. These are the icons at the bottom of the card. They come into play during combat. The third type of card are the locations I mentioned before. And when you play them, you put them on your board, and you load them up with stage counters, 1 for each one of the stages. So the Humble Underpass has 2 different stages, and you load it up with 2 counters when you play it. After you play a location, it doesn't do anything. It just sits there until you take the develop action. And when you do, you remove the top counter and you resolve the ability. So the Humble Underpass the top ability is you gain 2 Mythium and you gain 1 power. And then you're done. Your opponent can do whatever they want. When it's back to your turn, you can develop the location again and gain the next ability. And the last type of action is to attack your opponent. The way attacking works, and let me put some followers up here to make the story a bit more interesting. So let's say that we have these followers and that Marco Polo has these 2 followers. So the way attacking works, first of all, let's say it's my turn and I want to attack. I'm going to take my attacking followers, I'm going to exhaust them and move them forward. Now, the defending player can choose how they want to block, and they do it one at a time. So for example, let's say the Moth Keeper wants to block the Emboldened Soldier. Marco Polo is going to exhaust her and put her in front of the soldier. Now, these 2 followers are going to deal wounds to each other equal to their strength. So the soldier is going to deal 1 wound to the Moth Keeper, and the Moth Keeper is going to deal 1 wound to the soldier. And now these 2 followers move back. They're done. They're not part of combat anymore. So remember, you block 1 at a time, you block an attacker once, and that attacker is done. It's not in combat anymore. You can't block it again. Here's another example. Let's say the Caravan Guard wants to block the Earth Guild Executor. So they're going to deal 2 wounds to each other. And now, if a follower has at least as many wounds as health, they're defeated. They go to the discard pile. So the Earth Guild Executor has 2 wounds, which means that I'm going to send them to the discard pile. The Caravan Guard are still around and they move back. Now, the defender can keep blocking as long as they want, as long as they have followers to block with. If there are any attacking followers left, then combat is successful. And in that case, the attacker is going to gain 1 power for every follower that got through. So in this case, I gain 1 power. If 2 followers got through, I'm going to gain 2 power. On top of that, if combat is successful, I get to damage one of my opponent's locations. So let's say that Marco Polo is the one to have a location in play. And I'm going to load it up. If combat is successful, I can damage this location and remove the top stage counter. So Polo is effectively losing this top ability. They cannot use this card to gain 2 Mythium and 1 power. That is gone. And that is how combat is resolved. So we're going to keep taking our turns 1 at a time. When we're done, there's going to be a rally phase. And during the rally phase, a few things happen. First of all, we check for victory. So at this stage, if a player has at least 10 power and more power than the other player, they win the game. If there's a tie, the game is not over. We're going to keep playing. And notice that victory is only checked in this step. So if Marco Polo reaches 10 power here, or if Cthulhu reaches 10 power here, the game is not over. The other player could still catch up. After checking for victory, we're going to ready our followers. We're going to gain 2 Mythium. And we're going to draw a card. So similarly to how we have an untap phase in Magic the Gathering and other games, here we're going to have the rally phase where we're going to ready our followers and we're going to get some free stuff, free Mythium and a card. And finally, last but not least, we're going to flip the round tracker. So the player that was first before is now second, and the player that was second is now first. So the turn order has been flipped, and we're going to keep going. And that's the game, pretty much. You're going to have your 4 turns. You're going to take one of these actions every time. You're going to play followers and locations and attack your opponent. And the first player to get 10 power wins the game.
Okay, so I have a question about the standing. You said there's an like as Earth standing, star, what's that, moon, and wind, right? And
Void.
uh, void. Sorry. And then you can see the followers have their own standing on its left side. You can see on the board there's one follower there that has like the Earth sign, that one. So can you use that to for Marco Polo, because Marco Polo is a star?
Right. So one of the actions you can take is to pay 2 Mythium and gain a standing. And that standing can be of any guild. So if it's Marco's Polo's turn, he can choose to spend 2 Mythium and gain an Earth standing. And now, if Polo has the Eagle Huntress in his hand, on his next turn, he can pay 2 Mythium and play the Eagle Huntress, because now he has the standing which is required. So there's no limit to how many colors you can have in your deck. If you want, you can keep paying 2 Mythium and unlock standing with each and every one of the other guilds. It's all up to you. So you are encouraged to play a particular guild because your Worldbreaker gives you a standing with that guild, but branching into other colors is pretty straightforward. All you need is one standing with that guild, and you can play all of their one standing cards. So if all you want, for example, is to play the Eagle Huntress in the Polo deck, one Earth standing is all you need, and you can play that card.
Okay, how much was that? The cost of a standing for Marco Polo?
So
Oh.
using the action
Mm-hmm.
is going to cost you 2 Mythium.
Uh-huh.
And there's also different cards that are going to give you standing. So for example, using the Humble Underpass as an example, the second stage gains you 2 Mythium
Nice.
and one standing with any guild. So as you build your deck, if you do want to branch out and use more than one guild, you're probably going to include more of these cards that allow you to splash cards from other guilds more easily.
Okay, that is cool. So you can do whatever you can get from other guilds. Wow, I love that.
Right.
Okay, so I guess they can also go to your YouTube channel that you have some gameplays there, and you can send me the links. I can put in on my description on this video,
Yep.
so they can watch that. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're good now. Everything is explained, and yeah. Then please, for before we end the video, please invite them to the Kickstarter and other products that you have or channels that you have.
Right. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me and for taking the time to prepare. And I'm sure that editing this is going to take a while. So I greatly appreciate it. As I mentioned, the Kickstarter campaign is starting on March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to join is to go to our webpage and join the mailing list. That way you're going to get all the news, and I will let you know when the Kickstarter goes live. If you want to try the game, don't buy it before you try it. The game
Mm-hmm.
is free, it's online, it's on Tabletop Simulator, it's on Tabletopia. You can join the Discord channel to find opponents. We have regular demos and playtests that we run. So I want you to make an informed decision before you give me your money. Try all these things, do your homework, and then decide if you want to buy or not. And that's going to be on our website, and you're going to find the links in the video description.
All right. Thank you so much, Ellie, for your time as well. And thank you for considering Ben Trading Cards as showing your game.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. So I gotta put all the links, guys, down on the description, and you can click on whatever you want. And yeah, Ellie said, play the game first before you back. Okay. Then don't forget to support the Worldbreakers on Kickstarter and join the Discord community. Then yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.
And don't forget to
Bye.
subscribe to this channel.
Subscribe, like, and comment.
Yes, all that
Thank
stuff.
you. Thank you. Bye. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Ellie.